Imagine New York, a city that never sleeps but is always changing. In the 1920s, it was a symbol of hope, freedom, and grandiose dreams. In 2100, it is a megacity of the future controlled by artificial intelligence, where technology has merged with architecture and energy with the rhythm of life. Let's fast forward 180 years ago to the era of jazz, luxury, and the first skyscrapers, in order to understand how this city became a living organism, changing the very essence of urbanism. This is a story about New York City, from the roaring 20s to the cybernetic 21st century. At the beginning of the 20th century, New York was a symbol of the American dream. The 1920s era, known as the Roaring Twenties, brought an incredible boost to the city, both economically and culturally. It was a time when the saxophone rang on the streets of Manhattan and coins rang on Wall Street. Art Deco filled the architecture of the city. Skyscrapers such as the Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building became the epitome of upward striving. New York of the 20s is the noise of the streets, Ford Model T cars, neon signs, elegant men in hats, and women in fringe dresses dancing the Charleston. The city lived at night. Harlem's jazz clubs, underground bars born during Prohibition, and endless traffic, as if New York itself was an eternal dance. But behind the glamour, there were also contrasts. The boroughs of the Bronx and Brooklyn were far from the splendor of Manhattan. The immigrants arriving on Ellis Island were looking for a better life, working in factories and building a future with their own hands. New York was a city of hope, but also of trials, where every day you had to fight for a place in the sun. And yet it was precisely this diversity that generated the energy that became the engine of his development. By the 1930s, the city had changed, but the spirit of the 20s remained forever. New York has become a symbol of American dynamism. Even then, the image of the megacity of the future was being formed, vertical, noisy, where time is always in a hurry. No one could have predicted that in 180 years this same city would become the center of global cyberspace, where the boundaries between reality and virtuality would almost disappear. Fast forward to the year 2100. The New York of the future is not just a city, but a living ecosystem where architecture breathes and buildings think. Manhattan has become a vertical forest of transparent skyscrapers covered with photo panels and bioglass. In place of the old highways, there are now air routes for drones and air taxis. The city has switched to clean energy. Solar panels, tidal generators, and hydrogen sources provide full autonomy. The traffic management system is fully automated, and artificial intelligence monitors the environmental balance in real time. Times Square in 2100 is not just a square, but a giant screen capable of interacting with every passerby. There are no familiar billboards here. They have been replaced by holographic panels that respond to people's emotions. A network of underground highways connects the districts, and instead of subways, there are capsules moving in vacuum tunnels according to the Hyperloop principle. All areas of New York are connected by a single neural network that regulates climate, lighting, and security. New areas have grown on the water. Thanks to the technology of floating platforms, the city has expanded beyond the traditional coast. Where the Atlantic Ocean used to rage, there are now entire neighborhoods with gardens and skyscrapers floating on the waves. Apartments have become smart ecosystems. Temperature, lighting, air, everything adapts to the mood of the tenant. The cultural life of New York in 2100 has become digital, but not soulless. Museums have become interactive spaces. You can enter a painting, talk to a holographic artist, and experience the smells, sounds, and even touches of the era. Broadway has been preserved, but the stage is now projected directly into the audience's homes, and the actors perform in real time through augmented reality systems. Jazz, born in the 20s, has not disappeared. It sounds digitally, connecting generations. The city's economy is now based on data, neural networks, and creativity. New York has become the center of global artificial intelligence, where companies create digital worlds rather than goods. The Wall Street Exchange still exists, but trades are conducted by AI algorithms that analyze billions of transactions per second. Money has almost disappeared, replaced by energy credits and social points that reflect a person's contribution to the development of society. Society has changed too. New York in 2100 has become a city of equal opportunity, where the boundaries between professions, languages, and nationalities have been erased. People communicate through instant translators, and the hierarchy has been replaced by collaboration. However, with progress came new challenges: the struggle for digital identity, the preservation of privacy, and the question of where the line between man and machine lies. If we compare New York in the 1920s and 2100, then we have two completely different worlds united by only one thing: the desire to move forward. Then, 100 years ago, progress was expressed in iron and steel. Today, in code and energy. Where factories were noisy in the 20s, now the soft drone of drones sounds. Where metal bridges were built, light connections are now being built. And if New York was the capital of America then, now it has become the capital of the world and maybe of an entire civilization. But, surprisingly, the spirit of New York has remained the same. In the 2100s, as in the 1920s, there is still a sense of rhythm, energy, and a creative spark. People still come to this city to start a new life, to test themselves, to become a part of something bigger. New York is not just a place, it's an idea. In the 20s, it sounded through jazz. Today it sounds through pulses of light and data, but the essence is the same: the endless energy of life. New York in the 1920s was a city of dreamers, builders, and musicians. New York 2100 is a city of inventors, programmers, and researchers. But both are looking up at the sky, where the light of their future is reflected. A city that once grew up out of steel is now growing out of reason. And perhaps this is the true symbol of New York: perpetual progress, despite the epochs, technology, and time.